Hey folks, I'm Emily. I'm the founder and editor of theclosetfeminist.ca. Today I wanted to talk about fashion for trans-masculine women, masculine-identified women, and butch clothing for anyone who identifies as being outside of the gender binary. As you know from the last Closet Feminist video, I'm kind of obsessive when it comes to mainstream, widely available fashion magazines. Something that I see very, very rarely are fashion spreads or editorials that feature clothing which would be useful or appropriate to those who are interested in butch fashion. Major fashion magazines like Vogue, Elle, Lucky, Bazaar, and InStyle focus almost entirely on more femme looks, which is great for those of us who are interested in that kind of style, but not so great for the folks who aren't, because they're left with practically no inspiration from major mainstream fashion sources. When magazines do feature editorials that could be considered even remotely inspired by butch fashion and style, they're variations on a theme. Strong-shouldered suits, blazers, or coats in a more formal cut or style, like this one from the November 2012 issue of Elle Canada, starring model Yasmin Warsame. It is worth noting that spreads with potentially butch clothing are usually only offered in winter and fall seasons, leaving fans of this style with nothing seasonal to wear for the spring and summer months, according to what is shown in editorials. Another thing I have noticed is that spreads featuring clothing and outfits which are passably butch is that there is at least one or two shots of something that seems rather at odds with butch style at large. For example, overall, this spread could be considered relatively butch inspired. However, there are a few shots, like the one shown, which show a lot of décolletage, which, last time I checked, is not exactly a cornerstone of butch dressing. Another example of this editorial trend is from this spread from the April 2013 issue of Elle Canada starring Erin McDonald. You see these sharp suits in versions of lace smoking, popularized in part by icons like Marlene Dietrich, Eileen Gray, and even Frida Kahlo, to name a few, all celebrities past known for their own preference for more butch-inspired outfits. This reference is even hinted at with the entirely black and white fashion photography seen in this spread. This seems pretty good. However, we can once again see that prominent décolletage being shown as a strong feature of the styling in this editorial. It kind of seems like there is rarely a cohesive, consistent vision in a fashion spread that would meet the unique needs, interests, and styles of butch-identified people. It also seems that even as editorials approach something that could be considered thoroughly recognizable as butch, they shy away from, or rather entirely ignore, this particular style of dressing. On this note, Alyssa Garrison reminds us in a recent article in Worn Fashion Journal that, quote, "The fashion world purports to celebrate self-expression and individuality, yet the byproducts and ideas of fashion really only exist for two kinds of people," end quote. It's not like there's a lack of style inspiration when it comes to butch style. Fashion magazines, of course, rely heavily on celebrity culture, and if you add that into the mix, there are plenty of celebs who lean towards this style to consider for inspiration. Stars like Patti Smith, Pink, Janelle Monáe, and Shawn Marshall are all known for their sartorial choices that often, if not always, represent butch fashions and tastes. Celebrity style is important indeed. In the most recent issue of Bitch magazine, Kev Sennett pens a short article on the boom in butch clothing, highlighting the importance of celebrity endorsements in the case of Wildfang, a new clothing store based in Portland that sells tomboy-style clothes. It's not as if an editorial focused on butch fashion is entirely impossible or beyond imagining. We can see that proved wrong by all the fantastic butch fashion blogs and Tumblrs that exist. And if you read Sennett's article, you'll learn that business for butch fashion is booming. Interestingly, the best example I've seen in recent years of an editorial in a major fashion magazine featuring butch style comes in the August 2009 issue of Teen Vogue. This spread is remarkable in my opinion for a few reasons. The first is, there isn't a power suit, blazer, or other formal clothes to be found. All the outfits shown are fun and casual, unlike the other spreads that we looked at before. Second, the outfits shown could easily work for all seasons. Third, the spread is in a youth-oriented magazine. Where the grown-up Vogue may be stumbling, its younger sibling was picking up the slack back in the day. Lastly, the clothes shown are all worn with flat shoes or brogues. The shots we saw earlier from the other editorials were worn with stilettos or pumps, which aren't usually considered staples for most butch wardrobes. So to all of you major fashion magazines out there, the groundwork has been laid out. And if you have your doubts, I'd look to indie publications like Bitch or Worn Journal for inspiration. You could even hit replay on this video. My end message is this. I dare you to leave your homophobia and transphobia behind you. Take the plunge and try an all-Butch editorial. The results could be really interesting, compelling, and of course, super stylish.